While talking with my family about challenges facing our nation, my mom, an occupational therapist, told me she has noticed an increase in autism in children that she's treated over the years. I decided to research this topic, the silent epidemic.
So one of the challenges that our country is facing right now is the rapid increase in autism. 1 in 100 is a lot of kids that are affected by it. And because it has such long-lasting challenges associated with the disorder, it just really is causing a problem for a whole generation of kids.
This week it's changed to 1 in 100. And you have to wonder why that is. I think it's just that they haven't known what this is, and now more people are understanding that this is out there and it's coming at us as fast as we can imagine. Everywhere you turn now, people have children that are autistic, and the age level is getting younger. So it's not that we're just now figuring out how to determine that children have autism, is that we have a lot of kids now, and they're continuing to grow as far as how many kids are on the autistic spectrum.
And so the biggest tragedy in all this is that we as the United States and we as an educational system have not developed a better system to help those students who are not able to reach educational success or achievement and put them more into a care environment. Autism is pretty much a syndrome that has been misdiagnosed for many, many years. It's mainly how a person deals with the sensory environment around them.
I would say one of the challenges that I see that the country is facing is we have, a group of kids that are a certain age that, in 10 to 15 years, these kids are going to reach adulthood. And then what? Right now we have services that are provided through public schools, through things like that. But we as parents are getting older, and we are not going to be around to take care of our kids. Who's going to take care of our kids? Is the government going to be there to watch over our kids? Are they going to be put in, homes? Are there enough homes? There's an exponential factor of how many children we're talking about that keeps growing, and there's going to be no place for these kids if this keeps growing.
We are putting a lot of these students, these children, into situations that are impossible.
Swing.
They are very low functioning.
You do not want to swing.
We want to learn how to help them communicate. We want to get into their world, and that's the big key. It's us getting in there, not them getting in with us.
The government needs to look at the kids that currently are in the system, but their bigger goal is to find out why this is happening. What's causing this? Is this an environmental factor? Is this something else? Because if you can't find out where it comes from, you can't fix the problem. And I don't think the government's doing enough to find out why this is happening.
Cancer is seen as something that's curable, and autism isn't. Autism is something that is seen as a silent, hide it behind the door. And we have a lot of parents who just aren't willing to accept that their child has autism. They would rather have another label than autistic, because with another label, they could get better.
I think that autism has been overlooked because most of us parents just handle it and deal with it on our own. And until just recently, we didn't know what to do to help our own children, and if there was help.
Oh, where is it?
When we got our diagnosis, and he's 5, and he was 2.5, we were told to go home and think about it, and there really wasn't anything you could do. And now they're expounding on therapies, and this is not silent, and it was, and it continues to be growing, and I think that's why it is getting to be more in the forefront, but it's not something that, it's not going to kill you. And if it's not going to kill you, then people don't care.
Sometimes we find it harder to get the services that the kids need because insurance companies are just blatantly saying that if you're diagnosed with autism, we do not cover your services. A swing together. No, I know you don't want to hear that. Okay.
And it's a disability, yes, but it's not a physical disability, so they don't understand how to teach, how to interact with these children. I mean, the teachers that we have told me, we've never had an autistic child, we don't know anything about it. It's not their fault. they have, there's no support, there's no financial backing, and there's just no knowledge out there.
Autism, you can't touch it, you can't smell it, you can't see it. You can be aware of it. But unless you have the knowledge to research and further pursue it, you're not helping anybody.
It's hard in the United States because healthcare is a private matter, but there's just not enough money for treatment. There's not enough money for research, and there's definitely not enough money for treating these kids.
But more research needs to be done. Nobody can answer. My question is, why? Why do these kids have this? Where is this coming from? Why all of a sudden do we have this explosion of a population of children that have autism? And, if we can find the answer, maybe there's a cure. That's not my hope. My goal for my child at this point is that he will have a place in society.
And for the autistic student, we really should have a voice. We should have a caseworker that is in the school system helping guide not only the student, but also the teacher. We have a tool chest of all these great little activities and ideas, but there's no recipe for it. One day it worked, the next day it won't.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to correct the misinformation about autism that shock jock Michael Savage spread on his syndicated radio show last week. Mr. Savage claimed that many diagnosed cases of autism were fraudulent and that, quote, in 99% of the cases, it's a brat who hasn't been told to cut out the act. They don't have a father around to tell them, don't act like a moron, unquote. Mr. Speaker, I've known a number of families dealing with autism over the years, and I can tell you unequivocally that none of the children with autism I've met fit that deplorable description. But don't take my word for it. There's been decades of peer-reviewed scientific research on autism, and the evidence is clear. Autism spectrum disorders are real, and they affect over 1 million Americans today.